In September 1849, a woman named Harriet Tubman escaped slavery in Maryland and made her way north toward freedom. She traveled at night, hid during the day, and when food ran out, she survived on what the forest offered. One of those offerings was a fruit most modern Americans have never tasted. It grew wild along the routes to freedom, hanging heavy on trees near riverbanks and forest edges. For 3 crucial weeks every September, it provided calories, nutrition, and hope to people who had nothing else. The pawpaw, Gossamina triloba, is North America's largest edible native fruit. It tastes like a tropical blend of mango, banana, and pineapple, with a custard-like texture that melts on your tongue. Nutritionally, it outperforms nearly every fruit in the modern supermarket. But if you walk into any grocery store in America today, you will not find it. This is not because it does not grow here. The pawpaw grows wild across 26 states, from Florida to Ontario and from Nebraska to New York. And it is not because it tastes bad. Nearly everyone who tries a pawpaw for the first time describes it as one of the best fruits they have ever eaten. The pawpaw disappeared because of a single technological shift that happened in the 1940s, one that changed American food forever and made fruits like the pawpaw obsolete. This is the story of how refrigeration killed the most nutritious fruit in North America. Before Europeans arrived, the pawpaw was a staple food for dozens of indigenous nations. The Shawnee even had an entire month in their calendar dedicated to the pawpaw harvest. The Powhatan word for the fruit, Simon, eventually became its scientific name. Archaeological evidence from Russell Cave in Alabama shows pawpaw seeds dating back 8,000 years. Indigenous communities did not just forage pawpaws, they cultivated them. They spread them and planted the best trees near their settlements. When Hernando de Soto traveled through the Mississippi Valley in 1541, his chronicler documented Native Americans growing pawpaws in managed groves. This was not wilderness food, it was agriculture. Early colonists adopted the pawpaw immediately. It was abundant, it was free, and it grew where European fruit trees struggled. George Washington loved pawpaws and served them chilled as dessert at Mount Vernon. Thomas Jefferson planted pawpaw trees at Monticello, listing Gossamina triloba among the fruits he cultivated personally. In 1806, Lewis and Clark ran out of provisions in what is now Missouri. William Clark wrote in his journal that they were entirely out of provisions and subsisting on pawpaws. 3 days later, he wrote that they could live very well on them. The explorers did not just survive on the pawpaw, they thrived on it. Nutritionally, the pawpaw is exceptional. A 100-gram serving of pawpaw contains 3 times as much vitamin C as an apple and 2 times as much as a banana. It has 10 times as much calcium as a banana or apple, 20 to 70 times as much iron, and 4 to 20 times as much magnesium. Pawpaw protein contains all 9 essential amino acids, exceeding the apple in every one, and matching or surpassing the banana and orange in most. Research from Kentucky State University shows the pawpaw has a superior fatty acid profile compared to the banana, with 40% monounsaturated fats, lower saturated fat, and a better cardiovascular impact. Pawpaws also contain acetogenins, plant compounds showing promise in laboratory studies for anti-cancer properties. Its bark, leaves, and twigs even contain natural insecticides, protecting the tree without human intervention. During the Great Depression, the pawpaw sustained thousands of rural families and earned the nickname "Poor Man's Banana." Soldiers in the Civil War, both Union and Confederate, foraged pawpaws to supplement their rations. Freedom seekers escaping slavery also relied on the pawpaw while traveling the Underground Railroad north. The fruit ripened in September, the peak season for escape attempts when nights grew longer and crops provided cover. The pawpaw was not just food, it was survival coded into the American landscape. So what happened? In 1938, a truck driver named Frederick McKinley Jones invented the first portable air cooling unit for trucks. Before this, refrigerated transport relied on melting ice packed around produce. Jones's invention changed everything. Trucks could suddenly maintain stable, cold temperatures for days, and the modern refrigerated truck was born. By 1940, commercial refrigerated shipping containers appeared. By 1950, refrigerated rail cars became standard. And by 1960, the cold chain, the system that keeps food cold from farm to table, became the backbone of American food distribution. Consumers gained fresh oranges from Florida in December, lettuce from California in February, and strawberries from Chile in January. But the cold chain had requirements to justify the cost of transport across thousands of miles. Fruit needed shelf life, at least 7 days, ideally 14. Apples last 2 to 4 weeks in cold storage. Bananas survive 7 to 14 days if picked green. Oranges can last 3 to 8 weeks. The pawpaw lasts 2 days, 3 if you are lucky. A ripe pawpaw bruises easily and continues ripening after harvest. Once ripe, it ferments rapidly. Unripe pawpaws can be refrigerated for up to 2 weeks, but once they ripen, the clock starts. You have 48 hours before the fruit is past its prime. This is not a flaw, it is biology. The pawpaw evolved in North American forests, where its consumers were local foxes, raccoons, and opossums. The fruit did not need to survive a 1,000-mile journey. It needed to survive 100 feet from tree to animal. But in 1950, the American food system stopped being local. Grocery chains centralized, distribution centers emerged, and food traveled farther. The cold chain could not accommodate the pawpaw. So the pawpaw was dropped, not by decree, not by conspiracy, but by logistics. By 1960, bananas imported from Ecuador had more shelf space in American grocery stores than pawpaws grown in American backyards. The system selected for durability, not nutrition. The pawpaw, which had sustained Native Americans for 8 millennia, colonists for 2 centuries, and freedom seekers for decades, vanished from commerce. What did we lose? The average American eats 35 pounds of bananas per year, most traveling over 2,000 miles. If the pawpaw had remained in American orchards, we would eat local fruit with 2 times the vitamin C, 10 times the calcium, and 30 times the iron, without refrigerated container ships burning fuel across oceans. The pawpaw grows without pesticides, resists insects naturally, and serves as the exclusive host plant for the zebra swallowtail butterfly. When pawpaw orchards disappeared, butterfly populations declined, and an entire ecosystem felt the loss. Most Americans under 50 have never tasted a pawpaw. They have never experienced a fruit that tastes tropical, yet grows in their own climate. But the pawpaw proves North America had that fruit all along. In 1990, Kirk Pomper launched the Pawpaw Research Program at Kentucky State University. Today, there are over 27 named cultivars. They will never survive a week in a grocery store, but they thrive at farmers markets. In 2019, the Ohio Pawpaw Festival attracted over 10,000 people. The pawpaw is returning quietly. You can plant a pawpaw tree today. In 6 to 8 years, it will bear fruit. For the next 50 years, it will feed you without pesticides, refrigerated trucks, or global shipping. The same fruit that fed freedom seekers still grows wild across 26 states. It never disappeared from the land. It disappeared from our tables. Harriet Tubman did not know about cold chains. She knew about survival. And in September, the pawpaw was there. The trees are still there. The fruit still ripens. And after 70 years, we may finally be ready to remember what we lost. If this story changed the way you look at the wild plants in your own backyard, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. We are dedicated to uncovering the history and the treasures that have been hidden in plain sight. Help us grow this community and plant the seeds for a more sustainable future. The next discovery is waiting just around the corner.